Hey girl, how are you?
Hi, Lavender.
Good to have you, or should I say good for me to be here?
Yes, I'm
I
excited.
am so honored. We've been meaning to do this for a very long time.
Yes.
I've been saying I am going to interview the nurturer herself, so I get to have you on her own show. It's a privilege, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being
here.
Yes.
I know we've spoken about 2024. First of all, how has it been? It's already been a week or so into 2024.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
It's been good. I kind of feel very chill.
Yeah.
It's almost like I prepared for the year. For the first time, I feel prepared.
Nice. And I know that's also something we've talked about in the past as well.
Yes.
So how do you think you prepared for this year?
First of all, I was in a chill place for a very long time. I'm using a lot of your language. I was in Jaws for a bit, for a long time, not for a bit. And I rested my mind, I rested my body. So I came back prepared for work. Then of course we came back on the 20th. So it was just exactly 11 days to a new year. So I feel so cool.
Yeah.
I feel rested, I feel ready.
You look beautiful, by the way, and I love that color lipstick on you. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So I know that okay, so let me just ask my first question regarding nurturers. How long have you been doing nurturers?
Okay, nurturers begun 2022.
Okay.
Yes. 2022? Okay. Yes, 2022. June 2022. Yes, June 2022.
Okay. So what was your vision for nurturers? Like when it came to you, what was it like? Like what did you see? What did you envision?
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, nurturers okay, we began nurturers on Telegram. Okay. So when it came, something happened to me on the, I don't remember exactly when, but sometime in June. That was around my birthday, 2022. Daniel Ubong was teaching, and then he said, in the midst of the prayer, he said, if you're not praying for your children, who is? And that hit me differently. I don't think I heard any other thing he said for the 1 hour session that we're on. And I just kept wondering, oh my God. But before then, I'd belonged in other groups where women prayed. When I was pregnant for Light, I joined a group. We were praying for our children and our husbands. So when I left to Abuja, I didn't have that again. So I felt, there was the vacuum. And then he said that. I felt haunted. Wow. For 2 weeks. I felt haunted. Like, oh my God, what's going on with these kids if we're not declaring over them? Yeah. And then I told my husband about it, and he said, well, I've been telling you about these things. And it wasn't just about the prayer. It was sharing knowledge, because I've come to understand that when you pray with knowledge is different. The words you speak is different. The energy that drives the prayer is different. You know. So it was, for me, it wasn't just about coming to pray. We would learn, then pray. So it was going to be 2 times a week. We would learn on Monday, then we'll pray on Saturday. We'll spend an entire hour praying on Saturday, and then would hear, I would talk or have other people talk, not necessarily share. Now this is why. This is why I was not for sharing, because I created a WhatsApp group, and then women were trying to bring up their own thoughts and ideas, but I got to realize, I've been in groups, and I know that a lot of what is shared, okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. I was trying to avoid panic. Creating panic in conversations. So it was more for me infusing what I know. If you come in the group and you see what I'm saying and you think it's something you want to hear, or the people I bring, you think there are people you want to hear, then stay. So it wasn't really about you sharing or we sharing, no. So because we all come from different places, there may be clashes here and there in beliefs, and then sometimes they at the end of the day you don't really know what we talked about because everybody was saying everything, different things. Yes. So it wasn't about sharing. It was about me sharing telling you what I know, bringing people who I believe line up with my understanding of what nurturers is, and then other women get to glean from that.
Okay, so from what you just said now, so what is nurturers? Okay.
I was afraid you were going to ask me that. Because the name, first of all. Okay, so there's a part of the gist that I didn't mention. Okay. So that day, 2 weeks, for 2 weeks I said I was haunted. I felt haunted because in my bathroom when I'm sleeping I was hearing those words. Yeah. So we were doing a prayer session for a couple of hours or a couple of times in the day, and then on this time Daniel was not on, and he had told us anybody who came on could just. So as I went on, when it was time, another woman came. I'm like, oh, thank God it's a woman. Okay, so this is what has been haunting me. I want us to pray from the place of knowledge for our children. And she was excited. I mentioned women being watchers.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Yes, I mentioned women being watchers and explained it the way I understood it. And she was excited. She said she had never heard that before, and she was excited to join, to be a part of it. And so that's how we began.
So do you want to explain to us again when you mean women are watching?
Okay, so the picture I have is that a woman is, because of her place in the scheme of things, okay. She is, I always say the woman is a conduit, okay, of spiritual energy. Okay. So that's the picture I have. I hope to either expand in that or know better. Okay. But the picture I always have is that the woman is a conduit of spiritual energy from God to the universe. So when I say things like, I didn't say that, but I heard it. The woman is the guardian of the flame of virtues and values. If I am a guardian of something, there's something that was put in me for me to be a guardian.
Wait, please say that again. Just say that again, one more time.
Okay, the woman is the guardian of the flame of virtues and values. Every society is held by virtues and values.
Yes.
So if I am the guardian, then I'm a watcher.
Wow.
So, and if I am a watcher, then it's because there is something passing through me to preserve me, to keep me in my role, to guide me on my responsibilities. So that's why I'm a watcher. Wow. So I went online, I did some research, and I found out that a watcher is at the top of it, and he sees outside, he sees inside. So that's your role as a woman. You are seeing out there, you're seeing what's going on out there, so that you know what's happening, so that you can alert the home. The husband is the priest of the home. Then you can alert the home. Then you can put things in place. Then you can announce what you need to announce. Then you are in your eyes are both in and out. You are seeing what's going on in the house. You're watching the children. You know what goes on with your husband. You know what goes on with you. Wow, you're a watcher. So when I said that, at that point, Daniel Obon came and was like, I wrote that in my book, and when I was writing it, I didn't know how I was going to explain it. I can't believe you know what I'm saying. Oh my God, it was exciting. So he said, begin already. That was all the push I needed. So begin already meant you have to find a name. You have to do some graphic. You have to put it out there. Okay, so what name am I going to put? And then the name Nurturers came. And I said, okay, I'll use this name. Later on, when I receive another name, I change it. But Nurturers came to stay. And it just practically explains everything that I'm about, that Nurturers is about.
No, that's amazing. And again, like I said to you, when we first met each other, and when we started having conversations, I said one of the things that drew me to you was the way you were with your kids. Yeah, right? I said so. And it really, I was just like, this girl knows something. I was like, because I would just watch you, and the way you are with your daughter and the way you are with your son. And And we would just have conversations about it, and I'm just like, okay, tell me more. I want to know more. And then you spoke about nurturers, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to be a part of it. And I remember that time I wasn't on Facebook.
Yeah,
Do you remember? So I was like, oh, how do I join in? I'm like, I'm not on Facebook. How do I do this? Because I kept wanting to. I was like, I need to be a part of this. I need to, see what you're about and what you're doing. And it's just amazing. So I'm so glad you started this. I'm glad that you went. I'm glad that you were haunted. I would say that. I'm glad that you and then you actually responded.
Yes.
So that is amazing. I'm so glad. One of the things you had said as well is that, okay, the woman is a watcher. And, you put it in the context of marriage. So again, who is the target audience?
Yes.
For nurturers?
The target audience. This excites me. The target is to be mothers and to be wives.
To be mothers
and young mothers and young wives. This is why.
Okay.
The reason I know what I know, the reason I practice what I practice is because I was prepared. When I say prepared, now not the regular prepared, like pre-prepared.
Okay, so expand on that.
Okay.
Unlock that for us. What does that mean?
Okay, so backward to 2017.
Okay.
I wasn't married.
Okay.
It was my birthday. So my tradition has been to go to my father, my spiritual father, to pray for me on my birthday. In fact, it's not just my spiritual father. If I believe in you, I believe in the oil on you, but the one person that I don't joke with is my spiritual father. When he's my spiritual father. So I went to him on this day. I went to his house. And I got to the door. And he saw me and said, "Oh my God, happy birthday, how are you?" He gives me a hug and then he gets serious. At the door, he gets serious and he says, "The Lord told me to teach you how to conceive."
Wow.
And I'm like,
at this point you said you were
I'm not married. Teaching me how to conceive, what do you mean?
Why? What do I need that for?
What do I need that for? You should teach me how to marry. When he had been doing that.
Yeah.
And that's why. Okay, so many things the wires are loosening in my head.
Wow.
Like they are charging up in my head.
Just take one apart, don't worry. Just throw it out there, throw it to us.
Oh my God. Okay, so he had been teaching us how to marry. We were not married, we were not even, in fact, let me tell you the truth. The girls that I was hanging out with at the time, we were not thinking marriage. Okay. I wasn't thinking marriage until I met my husband. I was not interested in marriage. Marriage was not part of my plan. No. So, but he was teaching us. He was aware we're a bunch of feminists, misguided girls. Whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's how. Until our eyes were open to truth, he knew how we were, but he was teaching us how to marry. And then he said to me that day, 13th of June, 2017, the Lord told me to teach you how to conceive. Okay, I sat down. To be honest with you, I didn't understand a lot of what he said, but I listened. And the beautiful thing about spiritual knowledge is that it's not your head that is hearing. Yeah. It's not your intellect that is hearing. Yeah. You are absorbing. When you need it, it will come out. It will come out. Oh my God, it will come out. It will show for you. It will propel you to do. And then I get married. And then I get pregnant, the first one. I lose the first pregnancy. And then I take in for the second one. And I didn't want to get pregnant because we had a lot of things planned out for our lives. And we're not ready to get pregnant at the time. But the knowledge just came flashing through. Or however, it just
you say that it was haunting you?
It was haunting me. Okay, so the knowledge came. And then, like, it was all day. I didn't speak with my husband. It was almost like it was his fault that I got pregnant. Then, innocent guy. Because we did this thing together. And then, in the evening, it just comes to me. The knowledge I had received. And I just lay my hands on my 5 weeks or 6 weeks pregnancy and say, "I'm so sorry. I'm not mad at you.
Wow.
I'm not mad at you. I'm so happy you're here.
Wow.
I'm not mad at you. Please forgive me for being angry." you're welcome. We're going to do this together. Please forgive me, and I'm learning. I am brutally honest with my pregnancies, with the beings inside of me. Oh my God, what I got to see is that this is God in the forms until they unfold and when they unfold. So yes, God, I'm sorry. I'm not mad at you. And that was it. I came alive that evening. Whew. And then everything after. My children are practically templates of what I know and words my husband and I have spoken over them. Now, you asked me why. Okay, maybe you didn't ask why, but I'll say why.
Okay.
They are targeted at to be mothers,
Yes.
to be wives. It's because, first of all, when you get the knowledge before you begin a thing, you're armed. You're prepared. You're ready for what comes. It doesn't shock you. Then you know what to even do, or what to say.
Yeah.
And then to be wives, that's what to be mothers. Now, to be wives, the quality of a child, let me say it clearly, the quality of the seed is dependent on not just you, but the person you merge with.
That's true.
Merge. I'm sorry I'm using these words.
No, but
it's
it's clear. Yeah.
the quality of it. So you have to, you cannot attract who you're not. So you have to adjust yourself so that you can pull the kind of person that aligns with your belief system. Then you can make hybrids. That's the intention of nurturers, to make hybrids, to bring God in a higher form than the kind that we already have.
Wow.
So when I look at my children and I see them do things, when my daughter says things or my son behaves a particular way, I'm like, geez, dude, guys, what's going on here? Then I remember my husband is like, what's your problem?
Yeah.
You're speaking about this children. Why are you shocked?
Why are you shocked?
And I'm like, it's not something that I'm used to.
Yeah.
I say, when I speak over them, I say, you instinctively live right.
Wow.
Instinctively.
Wow.
So they know, they'll just tell you things. I'm with them, we're with them in the house. I homeschool my kids. So I'm with them in the house. I know what they watch. So there are things that they say, you know, they didn't get it anywhere. So the people who must make these seeds have to be at a level of understanding, of knowledge. You see, it's not childbearing. My spiritual father would say, it's not a blessing until you make it a blessing.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
It's not, children are not a blessing until you make them blessings. You make them blessings before you make them. Okay, so why do you need to have this knowledge before you even get married, before you give birth to them? Because you are as practically as it is that when you are the home for the fetus and until it becomes whatever it becomes and then comes out, you are literally it in the spirit. You are it beyond the material. So you want the person that you are to be a conducive atmosphere for the child that you're going to carry. It's not at the time that you're pregnant, you now say, okay, I'm not going to behave a particular way again. I'm not going to act this way again. I'm not going to do this again. You must have been that. You must have been that. You cannot but be that if you want this kind of child. Because that thing you just see, who we are, what we know, is a programming of our DNA. It's a programming of the entirety of what we are. So when you stop for a while, you're taking a pause. It doesn't adjust you. It doesn't shift you instantly. It will take a while.
I think what you're saying right now, a whole bunch of different things are just coming into my mind. It's almost like you expect to have this perfect child, but where did that child now appear from? It came through you. Are you perfect?
Yeah, you perfect.
Do you get it? Are you that specific? Are you that specific way that you would expect? I mean, based off of some of the conversations that we've had, when I go back and look at my children, I start to see myself through them. Yeah. So now I'm conscious of my reactions to them now as well, because I'm like, oh wow, they're pretty much a mirror of myself. Yes. So I almost look at it and be like, oh, I wonder what I was like from my parents when I was, this age. Or I wonder what, that you now even know why you get angry or even get excited or whatever emotion it is because you see yourself.
Yes, let me pick at that.
Yeah.
Why you get angry. Let me tell you the truth. You will never be offended at something if it doesn't hit you at the core. You will not be offended. That's why somebody can see something, the same thing you saw, and doesn't mean anything to them, but it hits you differently. But because there's a connection you have to it.
Yeah.
So your child is behaving a particular way and it's getting at you. Look at you.
Wow.
Oh, look at you.
Wow.
That's you playing. So it's annoying you.
Yeah.
Because the person we hate to see most is ourselves. Our errors. We hate to see our own errors.
Wow.
We hate to see, and our children reflect it to us. Yeah.
No, seriously, what you just said now, I think it's, again, in conversations that I've had with you, that I get to see these things or pay more attention or be more conscious of this fact.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like even, certain personality traits or, let me just leave it as personality traits. And I watch my son, I'm like, wow, okay, I'm like that. Makes it, that's not a bad thing. I look at him like, oh wow, because I look at him like, wow, that's actually quite intelligent.
Yeah.
And then, I look at my children and I'm like, I see how intelligent I am. Like, it's almost like they point out, like they've been pointing out to me my intelligence.
Yes.
And I'm just like, wow, I did not know that I was this intelligent. And for me to produce such intelligent babies, it must have come from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's actually amazing, like what you're saying, and like what you said about education, like coming and getting that knowledge. Imagine knowing certain things before getting married, or imagine knowing certain things, before getting married and before having babies.
Yes.
Like what you said now, there's some people, or even, it's happened with me as well, there's certain habits or certain things you then want to stop.
Yes.
Because, now I'm pregnant.
And now I'm pregnant.
I'm like, but did you prepare your body?
Did you prepare your
beforehand? I know, I don't know if it was my second pregnancy or my first one. And, you hear things like, okay, you should start taking biotin, or you should start taking this before that to help your body. Even after you've had babies, you should still keep taking particular supplements because
the baby
X, Y, and Z, what happened. If you don't have that knowledge, so for me, from my first pregnancy, because I didn't have that knowledge or I wasn't conscious, I didn't pay attention, I can't remember what it was. I didn't do that. I didn't carry on with my supplements. I lost a lot of hair. Different things happened with my body, and for some people it could be a thing of, oh my gosh, it's a demonic attack. No, it's
the absence
lack
of
knowledge.
Yes,
That's why people perish
because
of the lack of knowledge.
Yes.
If it was a thing where you knew, okay, this can happen, like when some people say things like, oh, I didn't know this kind of thing could happen in pregnancy, or I didn't know, it may not necessarily happen to you, but be armed with the knowledge.
Yeah.
It is a form of protection, like you're saying.
It's a form of protection. Yes.
It's a form of protection. You're pretty much arming yourself.
Yes.
Preparing yourself. Because preparation is also, it's good in terms of getting you ahead, like what you just said now. And then it's also arming in terms of protecting you from harmful side effects or whatever.
Choices.
Choices.
Yeah, that's what nurturers drives for.
Wow.
So we're not very, it's not about telling women what to do, the material things to do. Once in a while we do that. Like we ran a series last year, what I wish I'd known before getting married. It was purely on the material level. But the drive for nurturers is to arm you from the inside, because that's where you live from.
I remember the first time when I heard you talk about, okay, teach you how to conceive. The first thing that came to my mind, and I'm sure a lot of women probably think that, first thing that came to my mind was like, okay, maybe like what kind of position to get into when
you want to have sex,
or what kind of foods to eat.
Oh no.
All that kind of stuff. But then when we started talking, I was like, okay, she's talking about a different type of preparation. It's nothing to do with that.
I shouldn't say nothing physical, because this is where we manifest it. It's the holistic, the totality of it from the inside. So because we know that when you prepare from when you prepare yourself from the inside, it will affect the way you are doing the outside.
That's true.
It will affect the way you are reacting to the outside.
That's true.
So I almost feel like, okay, so people say, children, they are difficult. Yeah, they're a lot of work. I don't. Sometimes when I say it, it's almost like somebody actually told me. Well, I told her, if I don't do something, my children are not responsible for it. If I have a task,
please say that again.
If I don't do something I want to do, if I have a task to fulfill, it's not. If I don't do it, it's not because of my children. So then she said the first time she heard me say that, and then I've said it not once. I feel I sound arrogant. I say yes, I'm sorry, but I was prepared for this. So this is what I want to share with women, that when you, and I know, crazy, it's not just me. I know a couple of women who understood these things, maybe didn't understand like this is what they were doing, but they are armed with knowledge, and so their children turn out differently. Their children are different. I know some.
Wow.
I know some. So you can tell. So this is what I want to do with nurturers. I want to teach you how to be a mother before you become a mother.
Yeah.
I want to share with you how to be a wife before you become a wife. This, for me, it's not just, I'm not too much into teaching you how to marry for marriage sake. It's all centered around the child for me.
Okay.
Yes, it's centered around even your marriage as it relates to the child.
Okay. So that would literally be what you would be touching on.
Yes, that's what I'll be touching on. So if I tell you marry right, it's because I know that if you don't marry right, you can't give birth to a proper child.
Wow.
If I tell you marry a breed of husband or behave this way in your home, it's because I know that the child is affected. We are products of where we came from. What I mean by that is we are the adult is the child of yesterday. Let me say that differently.
No, oh wow. There's so many things going through my mind as you say that. Okay, so the adult is the child of yesterday. What do you mean by this?
So it's a conglomeration. You as an adult, I as an adult, we are a conglomeration of everything that was infused into us as we were growing up.
So as you say this, I'm looking at it like what you were saying about seed. So now you're made up of everything that your mom and your dad are in terms of physical seeds.
Yes.
And then you're also made up of the environment in which you grew up in.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. The environment you grew up in, especially the home. Because every other place you go to and come back, you go to for a while and come back to one place, the home. So, and then I want women to understand that the home is an wherever the child is, wherever the human being is an atmosphere. So it's not just what you're doing to them when they're there. It's what you're doing in the environment that they carry, because it's energy that they carry into them. That they carry, that energy is the same thing they carry outward.
Oh gosh, like literally I'm seeing so many different things as you're talking right now. So when you spoke about the seed, and you said, okay, it's the adult or the child of yesterday?
The adult is the child of yesterday.
The adult is the child of yesterday. What I was thinking about as well is that, okay, so you have the father and you have the mother. The father is coming with his environment.
Yes.
The mother is coming with her environment.
Yes.
And then they're creating, would I say sometimes it could be a clash if you don't have the right information.
Yes.
Right?
It is mostly a clash.
So now I'm thinking of one of these kind of cartoons or one of these kinds of Marvel movies where, okay, let's say, you know, the father, let's say the father is like a mailman. I'm just thinking, like, so now it's like, okay, half this room is now water. Yes. And half this room is now land, dry land.
Yes.
How are they supposed to?
They are now in middle.
Do you get what I mean?
Land and water.
So do you get what I mean? So like, what you would do in water is different from what you would do on dry ground.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So now these two people get married and come together. Where would they live? What kind of environment are they creating?
Yes.
Wow, that's deep.
Yes. So if I'm concerned about that, that's where. Wow. So I know that this is a task. Because, okay, so I was having a conversation with my friend in varsity some time ago, and she was telling me something, and I'm like, oh my God, how was their childhood? She started laughing. It's like, oh, nurturer. That's where my mind goes to all the time.
Yeah.
Like, each time somebody's telling me about somebody and something wrong with them, like character-wise, I'm like, oh my God, how was their childhood?
You know, I used to find this really funny as well. You know, when people would say that, like you say something like, oh, he probably was not loved by his mother. Or it wasn't, you know, like people used to say things like that. But then you don't actually realize the importance or the impact that your parents had on you, or the environment your parents created for you at different points of your life.
Yes. To the point that when you're older, if you did not realize that there were some errors they made. Okay, so a funny thing. This is just for laughs. Somebody I know who is a writer posted. It was a cartoon. The parents were telling the girl in her book signing, "We're sorry. If we knew you were going to be a writer, we would have treated you differently."
Oh my God!
Because the child wrote about them. So you are, until you grow up to realize, oh my God, they made mistakes. Like, I'm at a point where I don't blame my parents for nothing. Were they perfect? No, far from it. But I've come to the point that I realized that they didn't know differently. If they knew better, they would have done differently. They would have done better for me. So I'm at the point where I'm trying to pick all the tangled wires that their errors caused and adjust, pick one at a time and heal myself from. I am still healing. I'm still adjusting, but it is because I know. So the essence of nurturers is to get mothers or women to ensure that you are healing, or you are. I don't know if this healing thing ever ends. So, but at least you have gotten to a point where you're armed with knowledge, such that even if you have not healed, like when I look at my daughter sometimes and she behaves a particular way I don't like, I just look at her and say, Father, help me to adjust. I don't get angry no, I don't. I don't get angry at the girl. Because I said they are your mirrors. So I look at her and I'm like, hold on.
Well, I haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, I'm practicing.
Yes! See, that's the point. That's what I'm trying to say. You now know. I'm trying to arm you with the knowledge that I'm not trying to make perfect people. I'm trying to get you to see. So that when you are behaving, when you're reacting, when you're making decisions, when you're making choices, it is because you know. That's from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's different when you live like that. It's different when you live like that. It's different. It's different for you. See, if I say I'm a calm mother, it's not because I have it all figured out. It's because I'm armed. I know some things. And then I have a spouse who has knowledge. Who is hearing, who knows what I know. So I can run things by him. So I can tell him so when I tell you to get married right, that's my concern. Because I can present it to him. I can say, there's a way we did this thing, I don't think it's okay. So he tells you, okay, so yeah. When I did it, if it was he who did it, when I did it, this was my mindset. And I'm like, okay, based on what we know, let's run it. Let's see it. Based on what we know, let's run it by knowledge. And he's like, oh, why wouldn't I become? Why would I enjoy the ride? And
it makes parenting more fun, I think.
Yes, it is.
And then the load is not on just the mother or just the father, both of you.
Both of you.
Wow.
Yes, both of you. So you're not afraid. You're not afraid when the kids are not with you. Oh, what's going on with my children?
Yeah, I think most people react that way. You know, when like if maybe the mom is not around, it's like, who did you leave your children with? What kind of a question is that? Don't they have a father?
Yeah, don't they have a father? But is the father reasoning
the father have that knowledge?
So I got, until now actually, I got offended at a woman who saw me coming back from somewhere, my neighbor, and she's like, where did you leave your children? With who? I'm like, their father now. And because I was gone for hours, I can't trust him. See, my husband started taking my daughter out when she was a few months old. They said I gave him something. They did not know that what I didn't give him. What he had was knowledge.
What he had was knowledge. I
That's
think also something similar as well with my husband at different times. You know, when we had the kids, we were in the UK, and they had, you know, if he carried the baby in the carrier, it's almost like, why should he be the one carrying the baby in the carrier, or why should he be the one pushing the pram? It's almost like you're forcing him to do it. I'm like, but that's his child.
That's his child.
You know what I mean? Or you, I think there was another situation about hair. You know, I think my husband would take my daughter to get her hair done sometimes. It's almost like, okay, it's weird to take your daughter to go and get her hair done, or take your daughter to go and do these things. So, I mean, it's just amazing. So, the last question I was going to ask you about nurturers, what are some of the things we should expect from nurturers this year?
Ooh, that's a lot.
Well, you don't have to give us your whole play-by-play for the 12 months, but just let us know what are some of the things we should be expecting from you. What are some of the things you would like to try? What are some of the things you would like to do?
Yeah. We'll have further conversations.
Okay.
Because it's my show, I can tell you that we are going to have
no problem. But thank you so much for having me for it was great. It's always a wonderful time talking with you.
Thank you.
I mean, we would never stop.
No,
we'll
never stop.
Keep going, and we don't want to bore them with our private conversations. But what's one last thing you want to say to a potential nurturer? So your to-be mother or your to-be wife.
I would say, wake up to the reality of your existence, because you cannot run away from it. From the day you came to earth as woman, you came to be a nurturer. So wake up and live.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much everyone for tuning in tonight. Have a wonderful Monday.
Thank you.